If you don't communicate with your wife, then you're not going to be able to share the word with her. There are men who are married who I know of who don't even talk with their wives. Yo, what's good? This is Donovan Anderson of 30 Mighty Men Ministries, also the founder of Clean, the tools to achieve sexual integrity for the Christian man. Man, so what I'm thinking about today is like, for you men who are married, like, and are trying to lead your household, there's some books out here that I like. There are a couple by Voddie Baucham that just recommended today to a brother of mine. So I'm gonna put those in the chat. I think one's called Family Shepherds, and the other one, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's in the chat. So my guy was telling me, he's like, think about, how does he incorporate it into his household? Think about, like, maybe he finds a day per week for Bible study, like to pray with his wife and do things like that. And what I encouraged him was like, you could do that. Not saying that you shouldn't do that. Have a systematic way of kind of like spreading the word in your household. That's just something that you should think about. But I think more effectively, it needs to be part of your lifestyle. That the things that you're doing as you're following God, as you're kind of like being obedient, you're sharing those things with your wife. You're telling her about what's going on. You're telling her the things that you're reading. You're sharing, whether she's reading it or not, in the beginning is irrelevant. As you're reading it, you're sharing what you're reading. You're sharing what you're learning. Not with judgment, not with like with an air where you're above her, but just like, like, I read this thing today, and I found it interesting, and you're sharing it just in everyday conversation. So again, these things are stipulated upon basic assumptions that you communicate with your wife. If you don't communicate with your wife, then you're not going to be able to share the word with her. There are men who are married who I know of who don't even talk with their wives. They're always working, they're always out. They don't really like their wife. So that's another problem. But for you men who are communicating with your wife on a regular basis, who are talking with them, you should be incorporating your world. If you're chasing God and you're following him, then it should be on your lips. It should be coming out of you. You should want to share what you're learning. If you're reading about David in the Bible a particular week, you should be sharing that story with your wife. If you're out and doing something, you're sharing the gospel with someone, you should be sharing how you're doing that, how you're feeling. That should be a part of your everyday. Like, that's how you lead your household. That's how the word gets into your household. That's how your wife gets washed with the word, right? But I even go a step further, like for some of you guys who are big on like this machismo thing, like, and kind of like get caught up in that, like, before you can wash your wife with the word, you have to wash yourself with the word. If you don't know the word, your wife is not going to know it. If you're not studying it, if you're not trying to get it for yourself, if you're not doing it, then she's not going to do it. The way that you lead, what you're doing for yourself is the direction that your household will go. If you are the captain of the ship, if you're taking the ship into treacherous waters, dangerous waters, that's where the entire household is going. If you're doing things that you're supposed to be doing, then your household will follow. It may not do it right away, because you have to model it. Especially if you've been doing wrong for years. It's gonna take you time to switch gears and to show that this new way of doing things, of thinking, is the way that your household is going now. Your wife, your children may not pick up on it right away. But if you're consistent and if it's real, they will follow. They will, but it starts with you though, not with them. Don't focus on your wife and what she's not doing. Don't focus on your kids and what they're not doing. Focus on you and what you're doing. It starts with you. If you do it, they'll eventually follow. If you steer the ship left, steer the ship right, they'll go in the direction that you're steering that ship. But it starts with you though. It starts with you knowing this word, and you understand the character of Christ so that you can follow him. If you're submitted to God, your wife will then submit to you. But she's not going to submit to someone that's not submitted to God. She's not going to do it willingly. But most women will submit to you if you're submitted to God. She knows that God has his thumb on you, that you're accountable to God, that she's not really following you. She's not submitted to you. She's really submitted to God. Because if you're submitted to God, you're in alignment, then she's also in alignment with God. You happen to be in how God will speak and cover your household. You're in that position, but really she's not submitting to you. She's submitting to God himself. But it only works if you're doing it. It starts with you. So again, it's a word for you as you're kind of thinking about your household and how to lead it. Your integral truths, you have to start with yourself. Are you leading? Are you being led by God? Are you submitted to him? Are you in alignment with him? That's where it starts before you can lead anyone else. All right. And as always, man, this video right now is not for me to be seen, but for you to be encouraged. So I pray that word helps you. Continue to press forward. Continue to lead. Get the resources that you need to do so. And if you're not clean, go in the link below. Register. Let us get in contact with you so you can at least start there. Being obedient to God and follow him is the first step to true leadership under Christ. To God be the glory. Peace.